Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of Dirt, Grain, and Steel. So I've had a couple guys comment on my Forney Easy Weld 140 unboxing video that they would like to see me stick weld. All I done was wire weld in that video. So I decided to make a video today on stick welding. So to get the 140 converted over to stick, all we have to do is undo this lead right here, take this one out, plug our stick electrode lead into the socket, turn it, tighten it, come up here to our 3-position rocker switch and rock it to the center position, which is stick. And we are going to be running some 3/32 7018, which 7018 is the most popular stick. 7018 is for low, medium, or high carbon steel, ideal for out of position welding and tacking, which that's what I usually weld out of position, and I do a lot of tacking. So out in the field I run a lot of 7018 with our 325 Miller Trailblazer, and it's just a good all-around all-purpose rod that we use out in the field. And I've got several friends that's all they use is 7018 in their gravel pits and stuff like that. So anyways, with 3/32 and the material that we're running, we're going to be welding on some plate steel and some C-channel, so we can actually crank this all the way up and see what we end up with to start with. So we might turn it down, we might not, so we'll see what happens. So anyways, I'm going to get it set up here and we're going to start welding with some 3/32 7018, and I'll show you how it welds. It's very easy to convert over to stick. All you have to do is just roll your MIG gun up and just hang it there. It can stay plugged in here and everything, so nothing major to do other than plug these in and you're ready to rock and roll. Forney sends this nice stick quick start guide, which comes in handy. Right here it tells you the different rods that this machine can weld with. 1/8 inch 7018 is out of the question. I tried that. It won't weld with it. That's what I usually weld with, is 1/8 inch out in the field, but with the 325 Trailblazer, it doesn't care. It melts it. The red X's are absolutely not. So that 7018 is a red X. The yellow check marks are maybe, they're iffy, but it will weld with them. And I did try some 6013 with the yellow check mark, and it doesn't like it very well. You can get it to weld with it, but you stick your rod quite a bit. There's just not enough amperage right from the get-go to really get that rod hot and burning. So 3/32 is max, I feel, in my heart. I don't see going anything over 3/32 with this machine. That's just the way it is. So in fact, I think I would have probably rather had some 5/64 7018, but 3/32 works out okay. You just got to work at it once in a while. When you go to strike an arc, you will stick your rod, but if you're real careful, you can start welding right off the bat. But as you see, I'll stick my rod a couple times before I start welding. I'd rather had some 5/64, but it will, once you get going, it will burn the 3/32 easily. So anyways, I'm gonna get set up here and we're gonna do some welding. Alright, so let's do some more welding here. Let's give this a stick. Let's take this and weld it to this. See how this goes. Oh. Definitely got some good penetration on that, that's for sure. Not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad. Not too bad. Definitely cut into that plate, so it's got good penetration. Let's come on this side and do another pass. Except for that one little hiccup right there. That's a good weld. So, it's a good weld right there. That's acceptable. I mean, for do-it-yourself stuff, home stuff, that's a good weld. Got the door a little hot. Not a bad weld. So, what I've determined welding stick with the 140 is you need to stay with a 5/64 rod. It will weld with 3/32, but I think the 5/64 would be a lot more comfortable to weld with as far as starting. With 3/32, I did stick my rod quite a few times because it just doesn't have that amperage to get that rod melted right off the bat if you accidentally push it in too hard, and it sticks that rod. I wish I had some 5/64 to weld with. I never even thought about, well, I don't even think it was available at TSC while I was there. Either they don't have it or they're out of it. But, I mean, it's not the high-performing stick welder like I thought it would be. Don't get me wrong, I love this welder for wire welding. It does a good job wire welding. But on the stick side of things, it says it'll weld some of these rods up to 1/8 inch, but I don't know. I have trouble seeing it. But if I was to weld constantly with it stick, I would just go ahead and just buy 5/64 rods and just stay with that size of rod, which is no big deal. If you want to fill something, you have to just put more material in it. You're not going to fill it in one pass like you would with an 1/8 inch rod, but that's okay. This is a hobby welder anyways. It never was intended to go, weld on a pipeline or, weld in a huge fab shop. This welder is made for things like I do in my small shop. I do some pretty good sized projects. Let's look at some projects I've done. I mean, like right here, we've got the conveyor that I built. I use this welder for everything on this conveyor. Welded this hopper and everything together for it. Made all these adjusters and all that. So, I mean, it does good as a wire welder. It's into it might be me. I don't know. Maybe maybe my technique's not perfect for it to use an 1/8 inch rod, but I don't know. I mean, I've welded a lot with the Miller 325 Trailblazer, and every time I use an 1/8 inch rod with it, as soon as you touch it, you're welding. I mean, that was with 3/32 7018, so that's a good weld. I mean, that's acceptable. But anyways, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dirt Grain and Steel. If you got any questions, comments, want to yell at me, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I like the criticism. But I know that there was a couple guys asking about stick welding with this. After stick welding with it and finding out what I found out, would I still buy one? Yes, I'd still buy one because I love it for the wire welding. I don't have TIG leads. I'd like to try it as a TIG welder. I might go ahead and purchase them. But anyways, so I hope you enjoyed this. And if you got any ideas for another video, let me know. And I'll catch you on the next one.